I want you to take a look at this image for 3 seconds. Look at the 3 cars. Which car looks the biggest to you? The one in front, middle, or furthest away? What if I told you that all the cars are actually the same size, and it's just your mind interpreting what it thinks is reality? In fact, I can prove to you that the 3 cars are exactly the same size right now. Take a look at this. What you just saw is an optical illusion making your brain interpret the cars as being different sizes. This is an example of how our minds alter our perception of reality. Now, what if I told you that physical reality itself is the neural manifestation of your consciousness? And without the power of thoughts from your brain, reality as we know it today would cease to exist. Take a look around you and the greatest achievements of humanity itself. From the construction of the Great Pyramids of Giza to the marvel of modern technology, everything around us that humans ever built and desired since the beginning of time, they all started as a simple thought. Every single one of your wants, your needs and dreams, every desire you ever wished for, whether it be fantastical fantasies of insane wealth, being in the best health you've ever felt, becoming physically younger and fitter than ever, having loving and fulfilling relationships, or enjoying complete and utter freedom. All of these outcomes were a result from your mind, and it all initially began as nothing but a simple thought. If you're currently not experiencing the kind of happiness in life that you deserve, whether it be from constantly being stressed out and worried, whether it be not having enough money, whether it be from health and physical ailments, then I have news for you that might sound almost too good to be true. In the next few moments, I'm going to prove to you conclusively that there is a simple, yet closely guarded secret 60-second process you can follow that begins rewiring the neural connections in your brain so that you'll automatically manifest all that you desire in life, while simultaneously actively repelling what you do not desire. If you want to learn the 60-second neural manifestation process that will kickstart the alignment of your subconscious with the most powerful hidden law of the universe, then watch very closely and mark today's date, because my story will absolutely change your life. This is not the law of attraction or the secret. This is not about reciting endless, useless affirmations. This is also not about the power of prayer, and this is definitely not airy-fairy woo-woo garbage. Whatever you think this presentation is about, I guarantee you have never heard of anything like this before. Hi, my name is David Sanderson. Let me show you a simple yet relatively unknown neural manifestation switch that will allow you to design your own destiny and force the universe to give you whatever your heart desires. I grew up in Las Vegas and came from a broken household. My mom was 15 when she gave birth to me, and my biological dad was always in and out of jail. When I was 14, I left school to help support my siblings because my mother was an alcoholic, as the stress of raising 4 kids alone was too much for her to bear. At 18, I was kicked out of my mom's house because I beat my mother's then-boyfriend in a match of poker. To my horror, she actually sided with him and booted me out to end up living in a park. So trust me when I tell you this, no matter what kind of struggles that brought you here, whether it be suffering from financial hardship, whether it be suffering from health-related anxiety, whether it just be a general feeling of unhappiness, there is a reason you found my video online today, whether you realize it or not. It was not simply an accident. Some people call it fate, others may call it destiny. Whatever the case may be, it was a precise series of events and sequences that led to you being here. I know what it feels like to be sitting out on the street, out in the rain, holding a sign, begging for food with people walking by, giving me judgmental looks. I carried around the heavy pain of knowing I was abandoned by my father and my mother, like a ball and chain around my ankle. Looking back at my life only a few years ago, being on the verge of suicide, it's hard to believe that was my everyday reality. I was broke, hopeless, depressed, and worst of all, lonely. But all that has changed, and this is thankfully all in the past, because now as a self-made millionaire, traveling the world giving motivational seminars, my life is a complete dream. And it all came down to just a quick neural manifestation process that only took 60 seconds to start, which eventually aligned my subconscious to the universe to rewire the brain networks operating inside my mind. And it didn't require reading and studying hours of self-help books. It didn't require paying thousands of dollars attending high-ticket training boot camps. It didn't require focused meditation or anything like that. In fact, it all began with a 60-second test one night before I went to sleep at night. And before I knew it, I was automatically manifesting unbridled wealth, love, happiness, prosperity, and freedom into my everyday life. What most people don't realize is that the human subconscious mind is the most powerful entity in the known universe. Your subconscious controls your reality around you, things that happen to you in your life, good or bad. have a direct link to the quantum realm and the universe. Sometimes your subconscious mind can become out of tune, so to speak, almost like a neglected piano. The more time that goes on without retuning your subconscious, the more out of control your life will become. You see, experiments in the quantum realm indicate that when we use our brain to think, we emit brain and energy waves. That is why when we think of happy things, our body physiologically reacts in the same way and generates positive human energy fields, resulting in a happy and uplifting mood. So it is scientifically true and literally accurate when people say that we become what we think about. But what if I told you human energy fields that begin as mere thoughts actually physically interact and influence the quantum field surrounding us? Yes, what I am saying is that the human energy fields created by thoughts are actually affecting the reality of things around you. You see, there was a very famous experiment done almost 100 years ago called the double-slit experiment. This was a physics experiment conducted at the quantum level to determine how atomic particles would interact with their immediate surroundings. Each time the experiment was conducted with no recording machine or observer, the results would indicate outcome 1. However, as soon as the experiment was conducted with a recording machine or physical observer, the results would always end up as outcome 2. This confused the scientists at the time, because they could not believe that the mere presence of a recording device observing the experiment process would actually alter the outcome of the experiment. But eventually, after multiple experiments conducted by various test groups, the results were undeniable. At the quantum level, the mere fact of an observer resulted in the experiment outcome being changed. Eventually, it was discovered the reasoning behind this was that the equipment used to do the filming itself was emitting energy fields in the form of light particles to record and view the experiment being conducted. This in itself would alter the results of the experiment at the quantum level. So why is this significant, you might ask? Well, in short, this scientifically proves your thoughts literally affect reality through the energy matter it emits. You see, everything that makes up the reality in this universe is made of units of energy. Notice that I did not say units of matter, because the truth is, everything in the universe is made up of energy, not matter. As you get down to the smallest particles, atoms, quarks, and even smaller units, scientists realize that these elements are in reality just energy, not matter. That means that car you have in your driveway, the screen you are viewing this presentation on right now, and even your own body is not as solid as you've been led to believe. Rather, it is made up of energy. Therefore, your thoughts, being energy, can directly affect your surroundings. Our very thoughts are truly, in every sense of the word, masters of creation, because we literally decide what manifests out of the field of all possibility, as our very thoughts affect outcomes at the quantum level. We change the subtle energies within and around us with every thought, action, and emotion. Positive, joy-filled thoughts and emotions put beneficial energies into our beings and into our living environment. But sadly, most of us are unconsciously surrounding and filling ourselves with what we don't want in our lives. We unwittingly attract what we don't want into our lives by the way we think and feel. This is because our subconscious is misaligned with the natural laws of the universe. This point was further illustrated in 2004 by Dr. Masaru Emoto when he released a New York Times best-selling book called The Messages in the Water. In the famous rice experiment, Dr. Masaru Emoto proved that a person's mind and emotions have a direct positive or negative effect upon water molecules. He did this by putting equal amounts of dried rice into 3 separate jars. Then he filled up the jars with water from the same source in the same amount. Then he created 3 labels for each jar. Jar 1 was labeled love. Jar 2 was labeled ignore. Jar 3 was labeled hate. Once a day, he'd go to jar 1 labeled love and tell it, I love you. He'd go to jar 2 labeled ignore and completely ignore it. He'd then go to jar 3 labeled hate and tell it, idiot, I hate you. After a few weeks, something astonishing happened. Jar 1 labeled love that was given loving treatment on a daily basis actually started to ferment with beautiful colors. Jar 2 that he ignored simply turned black. Jar 3 that he told he hated, well, the rice actually began to rot. This experiment has been repeated countless times by various YouTube channels as well. This proves conclusively that water by some unknown means actually understood the intent of his consciousness, and as a result, changed the molecular structure based on that. That is why there is a significant difference between telling the universe what you want and your subconscious believing it. This is the key to unlocking the ability to manifest whatever you desire in this life. It is not enough to simply want something or say something and expect to get it. You need to rewire your subconscious in order to achieve this. You see, after I was kicked out of my mom's house, I was homeless for a while, living on the streets. Thankfully, I was lucky enough to be accepted by a group of local vagrants in the nearby park that were very helpful. One day, after a night of drinking cheap vodka, I awoke in the park to the sound of someone speaking on one of the local stages. I went over to the small crowd to see what this person was talking about. The man on the stage appeared to be in his late 30s, had a mystical look to him. His name was John Beckett, and he began talking about his life and how at the age of 30, he had been diagnosed with a terminal illness. He then left his successful career as an engineer to figure out the true purpose and to live out his final days exploring the world. His story was fascinating, but what really struck me is when he mentioned how he ended up in Nepal and was living with a group of monks in the mountains and learned one of the most magnificent secrets of the universe. That is, your consciousness can manifest anything that you wish. You can use your mind to heal your body and affect reality. Negative things that happen to you in your life are the result of your subconscious bringing it into existence, operating in such a way that is harmful to you without you even realizing it. He began to talk about quantum physics, energy, and the power of sound. After all, sound is comprised of different frequencies, which is a form of energy. These monks had ancient knowledge, which had either been lost or suppressed by the mainstream establishment. They knew how to harness the power of sound to reprogram or retune your mind and align your consciousness in an optimum state, which would allow you to manifest, heal, or attract whatever you desire into your life. He explained there were other instances of lost knowledge. For example, Thomas Edison did not actually invent the light bulb. Rather, it was the ancient Egyptians. As you can see in this ancient Egyptian carving here, you can clearly see from the engravings there is a beam of light being projected. He also claimed that an even more ancient civilization, the Sumerians, knew about our solar system and every planet over 4,500 years ago. This is contrary to modern understandings of astronomy, as it was believed that humans didn't know about this until thousands of years later. He went on to discuss how the monks used these strange sounds to heal his body and rid him of this terminal illness that was on the brink of taking his life. It was at this point that someone in the crowd yelled out, "If this is true, then why do I have to pay $1,000 a month in prescription drugs?" John ended up cutting the talk short, rather than trying to convince an unruly, doubtful crowd. But something inside of me believed what he was saying. Having been on the streets for a while now, you develop an instinct about whether or not you can trust someone, and I felt I could believe and trust him. After all, he wasn't even trying to sell anyone anything. I approached him, and for some reason was opening up about my life story. After listening sympathetically for a while, he told me to meet up with him the next day. John told me that he could relate to my story and told me that I reminded him of himself when he was younger. He then proceeded to introduce me to a concept I didn't yet fully comprehend until years later down the line. As already proven in examples I showed you earlier, the double slit experiment and rice experiment, John started to explain that the human mind can actually alter the outcome of things around a person. He explained to me that my brain frequency and vibration of my consciousness can alter reality. This may sound silly at first, but if you really think about it, it's actually quite true. Have you ever tried watching a horror movie without the sound and have it playing on mute? If you did, the movie itself wouldn't be very scary and at times would seem quite stupid. What we don't understand is that audio and sound waves affect our emotions, and specific sounds and tones will affect our neurology and thought patterns differently. John began talking about isochoric tones and also talked about beta, alpha, theta, and delta waves. Each of these tones and waves had their own special frequencies that have a profound but deeply unexplored effect on the mind and brain. This, coupled with soothing sounds in nature or the chanting of the monks in Nepal and other hypnotic or relaxing melodies, seemed to rewire the mind itself. Just as sounds and light are energy waves, so are your thoughts. If your thoughts are waves, and so is sound, it's possible for sounds to impact your subconscious through your thoughts, thus, in turn, affecting the universe around us. Alexander Graham Bell, the inventor of the telephone, theorized that thoughts traveled as waves. Therefore, it is theoretically possible to manifest whatever you desire using the power of thought. Edgar Cayce, the famous sleeping prophet, stated while in a deep trance that sound would be the medicine of the future. In fact, If you didn't know this already, the microwave you have in your kitchen actually uses certain frequencies to rearrange the molecules of water to cook your food. I spent the next few hours with John absorbing as much information as I could. He knew I still had many questions remain unanswered and was impressed by my eagerness to learn, so before he left, he offered me an opportunity to change my life. John told me he was in town because he was working with a local neuroscience lab on a new set of audio tracks and frequencies that were specifically designed to elevate the brain frequencies of the listener. He was looking for volunteers to test if it was possible that listening to his custom-designed neural tracks would allow me to align my subconscious with the universe and manifest positive change into my life. He told me he'd pay each volunteer a small amount of money if they agreed to try it out. Although I was skeptical at the time, I promptly agreed since I was genuinely intrigued, and I needed the money. My appointment with the neuroscience lab was booked for the next day. As I entered the lab, John greeted me and told me to lie down. He then gave me some headphones and told me to listen to the sounds. As he pressed play, I was confronted with strange noises and music. To be quite honest, I thought it was weird at first, but it was interesting, so I kept listening. My body started to become relaxed. My mind became calm and started to reach what I can only describe as another state of consciousness. It's not what I expected at all. I continued to listen until I fell asleep. An hour or two later, John woke me up and told me that the lab was closing. At the time, I was suffering from serious sleeping issues, and since those audio tracks made me fall asleep so quickly, I figured if I could convince John that I wanted to be a test volunteer over the next few weeks, he might actually pay for a few extra weeks for helping him out with his research. John was delighted at the idea and actually gave me a CD player and his custom-designed neural audio CDs so I could bring them with me. That night, once again, I turned on these strange sounds as I lay there trying to fall asleep, and repeated the same for the next several weeks. Then before you know it, amazing things started to happen. Mysterious things. My entire life, I've always had trouble with stuttering. It disappeared entirely within a week, unexplainably. My whole body started to feel better, and shockingly, my desire to drink alcohol totally disappeared. Other amazing things began to happen as well. My mom was able to get a hold of me at the local shelter. She had somehow found out where I was and came to find me. She had left her abusive boyfriend and was sobbing as she begged me to forgive her. She asked me to move back home with her and offered to help get me on my feet. I scored a real job this time around by what seems like pure luck. A few weeks later, I was reporting my amazing results to John at the neuroscience lab. I was telling him about my drastic life improvements and that I was very interested in learning more about the brain, neurology, and psychology. Ever since I met John, my fascination about how the mind and the universe really worked was something I thought about on a daily basis. As destiny would have it, a professor who ran the local university neuroscience department was also at the neuroscience lab at the time. The professor was just happening to look for a junior lab assistant in their department, and John smiled at the professor and immediately recommended me for the job. Although I didn't have any experience as a lab assistant, the professor said that it didn't matter since I was a friend of John's. Keep in mind, I was technically homeless at the time, and I was practically being given my dream job. On top of that, he could tell that I had the passion, and said that it is mostly on-the-job training anyway. At this point, my life had completely turned around. I had a job I loved. I had my health back. I had given up alcohol and miraculously got rid of my stutter. I was convinced that John's mysterious sounds, music, or whatever you want to call it, had changed my life, so I gave it to my mom to listen to as well. And astonishing things started to happen to her as well. Her type 2 diabetes all but disappeared. Her high blood pressure was now back to normal ranges. She was no longer feeling tired, agitated, and most of all, depressed. Within a month or so, she ended up meeting her soulmate and getting married within a year's time. I knew the secret to what radically changed our lives was buried in John's audio tracks. I was determined to understand what it was, and after months of relentless research and studying various academic journals, databases, and scientific textbooks from the university I now worked at, I finally found the answers to two of the lingering questions. How was it possible that listening to some strange audio tracks allowed me to align my subconscious with the universe and help manifest such amazing things in my life? I decided to create my own system based on what I had learned from John and also from my deep research. After countless hours of experimentation, I finally had gotten it down perfectly. I called it neural manifestation. By using a combination of the absolute purest isochoric tones, alpha waves, beta waves, theta waves, delta waves, ancient chant mantras, and other sacred frequencies, I created something that I would consider far more powerful than the CD I was given. Since I began using my system, I had become a millionaire, met the love of my life, and literally have not been happier in my entire life. Neural manifestation focuses on tuning your subconscious in order to maximize your ability to attract wealth, health, and any other positive manifestations into your life, while simultaneously keeping negative manifestations out of your life. The first track on my CD I created, I call Aligning Yourself with the Universe. This was specifically designed to allow an open connection to your subconscious so that we can begin to retune, rebalance, and reprogram it. The next track I call Neurogenesis. This is the process in which we start to retune and reprogram your subconscious. The neural blockages preventing you from creating abundance will be removed. Your negative emotions, realized and unrealized, will begin to melt away. The third track I called Your Natural State. This track interfaces directly with your subconscious and begins the process of hemispheric synchronization. This will allow both sides of your brain to be more in sync. Take a look at how your brainwaves change after listening to this music. Listen to this track once per day for at least 7 days to unlock the true potential of these healing sounds. I rid myself of a speech stutter, and my own mother reversed her type 2 diabetes, amongst other things. Track 4 I call Unlimited Abundance. The combination of sounds and frequencies are designed to create a new reality for your subconscious to accept. The reality that you are boundless, limitless, and are able to manifest abundance, love, and wealth using nothing more than the power of your will. This is exactly what I used to go from being homeless to becoming a millionaire. My entire mindset was changed, and it seemed money and good fortune would continuously flow into my life. Track 5 will ensure that your subconscious does not regress back to before and helps keep your mind and subconscious running at optimum efficiency. I call it Neural Guardian. Think of it as taking a vitamin for your subconscious. It will protect you from negative energies and ensure that you do not fall back into negative thinking, beliefs, and habits. The human mind is the last great unexplored mystery on Earth. It contains riches beyond our wildest dreams. It will return anything we want to plant. And the amazing thing is, it only takes 60 seconds to begin the thought implanting process to alter your destiny, to being able to manifest money into your life, to reversing damaging health problems you maybe have, to attracting true and everlasting love into your life. Using the human mind alone, humanity has achieved feats that would be considered voodoo magic just 100 years ago. From the initial creation of the wheel, to the wagon, to the car, and now bullet trains that travel at the speed of sound, carrying hundreds of passengers, thousands of miles using the electromagnetic technology. That is why you need to understand and remember this. We become what we think about. It's absolutely critical that you do not let your subconscious sabotage your destiny. Every time you have bad luck, every time you have some type of failure or setback in your life, every time you're struggling for money, it is most likely not your fault. It is your subconscious manifesting these things into reality without you knowing it. That is why it is so important that you have this system, neural manifestation, to help make your life a living dream instead of a living nightmare. If someone would have told me a few years ago I would be a millionaire today, giving talks all around the world, I would have laughed at them. But it was because I didn't believe them. I couldn't have believed them, even if I wanted to, because my subconscious wouldn't let me. But that all changed once I started listening to that CD John gave me. It literally changed my life. There is a reason why this information is being kept from you by the government, big pharma, and the mainstream media. This information is sacred and more powerful than anything you have ever encountered before. How would you like to completely change the circumstances you are in right now? Maybe you're unsatisfied with your financial situation, or unhappy with your relationships, or perhaps you suffer from health ailments, or maybe you just lack direction and clarity about your path in life. Regardless of what's keeping you down, can you spare 60 seconds to start the neural manifestation process of reorganizing your internal roadmap so it aligns itself with the natural laws of the universe? The reason why neural manifestation works is because it solves the problem at the root cause. The isochoric tones, theta, alpha, beta, and delta waves, will enter your mind and dissolve the limiting beliefs that were previously holding you back. And in its place, it will create a brand new, empowering internal roadmap. The best thing is, there is nothing new to learn. This process literally is as easy as putting on headphones and listening to this before you go to bed at night or any other time throughout the day. Excited with my newfound knowledge, I went back to the local park and shared my discovery with other homeless people that were nice to me during my time out in the cold. Most of them had been homeless for decades, and many were in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. Almost all of them had some sort of health problem. So I created a homeless, life changing group where I played my brand new neural manifestation audio to the people who were interested before they slept. And within 2 months, the results were astounding. You could see the results of their internal roadmaps being aligned with the universe. More than 90% of the participants of both genders were able to turn their lives around. All of them were able to get part-time or even full-time work and started their process of reintegrating with society. Not to mention, their health conditions had drastically improved. Although the results were impressive, I wanted to make sure that this would work for anyone. So I made a public group on Facebook and invited 500 beta testers to try it out for just 30 days just to see what would happen. And the results were nothing short of amazing. In fact, here's what some of them had to say. Jane, 45, from Dallas, wrote in and said, "I can't believe how easy this is. At first, I was skeptical as hell, but since I was having sleeping problems, I thought, what the heck? And I'm so glad I did. Within 2 weeks, I could see and feel that I was happier, and people were asking me what happened to me." Taylor, 45, from New York, said, "Thank you so much. Because of your program, I'm now able to consistently close clients on the phone that pay $10,000. Before I tried your program, I'd close maybe one of them a month, but in the past 2 weeks alone, I closed 8 clients." Robin, 38, from Texas, emailed us, "I've had limiting beliefs for my entire life. I know this because I have tried so many law of attraction things, and none of it worked. But now, after trying neural manifestation, it's by far the easiest and most effective. Every aspect of my life has improved for the better." I want to share neural manifestation with you because right now your internal roadmap is not taking you where you want to go. And just like a ship with no captain, your life is drifting around, taking you around, resulting in outcomes that are making you unsatisfied. Unless you course correct, the mistakes that you accrue now only become more compounded with every year that passes by. That's one scary fact that comes with life. As the years go by, the mistakes of the past will always catch up to you and pile on at an ever-increasing rate. I can guarantee right now, if you're watching this presentation, then you are not living life to its full potential. Maybe you are not satisfied with your financial situation. Maybe you suffer from ill health. Maybe you have a feeling of general unhappiness. Neural manifestation will optimize your consciousness in alignment with the laws of the universe so that your internal roadmap will be permanently altered to manifest realities that you desire. There's nothing to learn. All you need to do is listen to it right over your computer, cell phone, or any other sound device, and within 60 seconds, you can start the first step to designing your destiny. I absolutely guarantee that neural manifestation will work for you, regardless of what you want in life. It doesn't matter if you want to make more money. It doesn't matter if you want to be more fit and healthier. It doesn't matter if you want better relationships. Neural manifestation alters your thought waves and brain consciousness to a level that will grant all of this to you and more. Right now, you're here because you do not have a solid internal roadmap, and your brain is manifesting and emitting frequencies that are attracting things in your life that negatively impact you. But this changes now. It changes today. And the best thing is, all it takes is 60 seconds to start the mental rewiring process. Neural manifestation is nothing like what is currently out there. It directly transforms your thought process at the fundamental level, changing your thought process so that the very thoughts inside of your subconscious mind manifest the reality that you desire. No matter what kind of abundance you seek, whether it be health, wealth, relationship, or anything else, you will automatically manifest these into your reality. So let me ask you a serious question. What kind of value would you place on a simple 60-second process that will begin the process of giving you everything you ever wanted and desired for? I know thousands of people that would gladly pay a fortune for that privilege. And just think about the time and money you have already wasted on other self-help and law of attraction courses available on the market. This is why students of ours have said they would pay more than $997 just to get access to these secrets. But the good news is, I'm not asking you to pay that because I know what you're going through. So I'm not going to ask you to pay $997. It won't even be $197. In fact, it won't be half that much. Your only cost today is a 100% refundable deposit in the amount you see below. This is the bare minimum I need to cover the costs of keeping this website online. Please understand, I do need to pay monthly server costs as well as pay our friendly customer support staff to be available to help you. But in the event that you're not wildly thrilled with the results you get, your one-time deposit is 100% refundable. This means you can email us and get every penny back at any time over the next 365 days. If you order right now, I'll also throw in an amazing bonus. It's called Manifest Your Destiny. I developed this system with a world-renowned hypnotist, and you can be certain you've never experienced anything like this before. You'll get a beautifully illustrated guide that teaches you to shape and control your destiny, accompanied with 5 separate audio modules that uses the power of hypnosis to rewire your brain, using a phenomenon known as neuroplasticity, but on the quantum level with your subconscious. This perfectly complements my neural manifestation system and will increase the effectiveness. You'll get these 5 tracks: automatic stress relief, effortless love attraction, motivation in minutes, instant habit of transformation, and mind over money. Enjoy this guided, hypnotic narrator's voice and feel the changes sweep over your body instantly. This valuable content could easily go for $197 or more, but we're going to include it for free with your purchase today. Remember, neural manifestation is based on hard science and proven data. Everything I referenced to you earlier, from the double-slit experiment to the rice experiment, has been reproduced countless times. That is why there is nothing like this out there today. For those who are still skeptical and sitting on the fence, then let me ask you a question. Is your life really where you want to be right now? Is your current life the kind that you had hoped 10 years ago? What about your future? 10 years from now, where would you be? Would you be drifting around aimlessly like a ship with no captain? I know you want better. You know you deserve better. That is why you're still watching till now. But you might just be thinking that this is simply too good to be true. That is why I kindly ask that you suspend your initial disbelief for just a few moments and ask yourself, what is the risk to you if you only just set aside 60 seconds a day, just to test and see if neural manifestation works for you? Just give it a shot. Because if it doesn't work, then hey, it's just 60 seconds, no big deal. But what if it does work? Imagine the kind of financial prosperity you'll get. Imagine the type of loving relationships you'll be in. Imagine literally having anything you want manifest into your reality. The risk is just 60 seconds, but the rewards are limitless. Neural manifestation is the secret cheat code straight to living the kind of fantasy life you've always dreamed of. And to back this claim up, I am putting my money where my mouth is. If you are not satisfied with the results you get, then rest assured, send me an email within the next year and you'll get a full and complete refund. That is how absolutely confident I am it will work for you. Because if I wasn't so confident, do you think I would stand behind my 365-day risk-free money-back guarantee? So take action today. Mark today's date on the calendar when your life will begin its revolutionary change. When your limiting beliefs of the past will no longer dictate the outcomes of your future. Because now you'll be able to design your own destiny in the way you want. That is in tune with the natural laws of the universe. So that your internal roadmap effortlessly and automatically brings you abundance of wealth, health, and prosperity. So what are you waiting for? All you need is 60 seconds a day to kickstart this process. Now you have basically 2 options. Option 1, you can close this page and continue to live life the way you are right now. You'll continue to experience the same unsatisfying problems when it comes to your financial situation, your health, and your overall happiness. Day in, day out, it won't go away. Heck, you might even go and hire an NLP and hypnosis expert. But understand this. On average, a competent and qualified person charges at least $150 to $200 each session. You add up the costs over a 6-month period going just twice a week. That'll be easily $5,000 or more. Worse yet, most of them don't have a proven and undeniable track record. Do you have an extra $5,000 in 6 months to risk? When you know that the solution I am providing you right here requires nothing more than just 60 seconds to start. Remember, none of that is backed by a 365 money-back guarantee, unlike what I'm offering you today. And then you have option 2. You can try out neural manifestation today and begin the process of achieving the wealth, health, and success that you rightfully deserve while paying a fraction of that price. This means you have 0 to lose, but literally the rest of your life and destiny to gain. Click the Add to Cart button below. Make today the day when you embark on the kind of life that you would previously only dream about, and make that your everyday reality. Once you click the Add to Cart button, you will be taken to the secure checkout page. This is where you can confirm your order. Your payment details and personal information will be kept completely confidential because our checkout page is encrypted with the latest 256-bit encryption technology. And to further protect your privacy, nothing about neural manifestation will appear on your credit card or bank statement. The only thing that will show up will be a charge from ClickBank, which is the secure online merchant that we use. ClickBank processes over 100,000 secure transactions daily. And after this is done, you'll get instant access to neural manifestation. Don't wait any longer. Now is the time to begin to live the kind of life that you truly desire, where riches effortlessly flow into your life, so that your happiness will no longer be inhibited from lingering health concerns, and where your relationships with your family and loved ones will truly flourish. Make today the day when you effortlessly change your life and the people around you. Don't delay any further. Click the button below and let's get started. If you're still here, then you probably have some questions. Let me go over the most commonly asked questions. Question 1. Everything that I heard about in this presentation sounds absolutely amazing, but is it true? Yes, everything I referenced in this presentation is true and 100% scientifically proven. All of the studies mentioned have been reproduced independently by third parties over and over again. Question 2. What if this doesn't work for me? If you honestly gave it a shot and listened to the audio we provide you consistently, and you still don't see tangible results with your life, then simply ask for a refund within the next year and we'll happily refund your money. I just ask that you try it out for the minimum time proven by science to change a person's habit, which ranges between 7 to 21 days. Question 3. How long will it take to get results? Results vary from person to person because the brain structure and the way in which your mind is constituted isn't the same for everyone. Some students report seeing instant and tangible results almost immediately as soon as they listen to it. For others, it might take a little bit longer. Question 4. Why is this any different to the other law of attraction programs? Simple. Because unlike the other courses that deal with covering up the symptoms of the problem, we provide a solution to the core and heart of the problem. Neural manifestation is specifically designed to literally alter the thoughts inside your mind and subconscious so they become aligned with the natural laws of the universe to bring you abundance. Once this is achieved, it organizes your internal roadmap so that health, wealth, and prosperity will automatically flow into your life and manifest itself into reality. And all it takes to start the process is just 60 seconds of your time every night before you sleep. There is literally nothing faster and easier and more effective than this out there right now. I hope this has answered most of your questions. Don't delay this any further. You know what you want out of life, and right now, your life isn't where you want it to be. Now you finally know the reason behind it. Isn't it time to change it? Click the Add to Cart button and let's start making that change today. Remember, it only requires 60 seconds to start.